I am doing this one as a review for Sweatshirt. You know who you are. Now, when I say Saturday Night Live, some people instantly think of the 1990s, some people think of the 2000s. But if you want to go way back in time, we're talking the 1970s and 80s. Two names will indeed spring to mind. Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, Blues Brothers. This is the 25th anniversary edition. What is going on here? Comedy icons Jake Belushi and Dan Aykroyd star in the outrageously funny musical comedy about Jake and Elwood Blues, two brothers searching for redemption with no money but a briefcase full of soul. Hit the road with musical performances by blues legends Ray Charles, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, and Cab Calloway, and the action-packed spectacular from acclaimed director John Landis. And yes, there are indeed. What can be said about this cult classic other than, if you want to talk literal divine protection, in order to submit $5,000 to the city of Calumet, Illinois, to help keep their orphanage intact, just the absurdity they overcome is truly legendary. I mean, just the fact alone, this movie is a classic. There's no questions about it. It is 2 hours and 27 minutes. And I saw this movie like 4 years ago. I'm like, all right, what's going on? Who is this woman that is deliberately causing destruction? Turns out it's a non-Princess Leia, non-Peter Griffin's boss and Family Guy role from her. Yeah, it's Carrie Fisher in this movie, who's playing a jilted ex who wants to get revenge on one of the brothers, and just the absurd length. What do they evade? They evade included but not limited to. Let's see, a bazooka, a machine gun, cops, Nazis, more cops, and just the most absurd thing possible. Just the absurdity of this movie is what makes it so great. But also at the same time, there are some quiet moments. I'd say for every 5 explosions or unbelievable scenes, there's like some quiet moments here and there, just to give credit to pay tribute to the city of Chicago. That's what. Which one of them is alive? Dan Aykroyd said is still going on. Like, hey, yeah, we're paying tribute to the city of Chicago with the Delta Blues sound, having said performances still happening. It's like a tribute to all the blues artists and everything. Heck, even those two were in the actual band name, the Blues Brothers, and it's just like, that's what this is. Of course, here is the car itself, the Bluesmobile, which is a stripped down police cruiser that they managed to go through, and also the megaphone that's attached. There's now some Hollywood, there's some car movie museum or something like that, and then you know the darn thing. It's iconic as heck. It's what they used to help garner support for the concert. It's just, this movie is just a laugh-a-minute riot, truly. It just doesn't stop, It's like, you just think of it and you're like, this is just so gosh darn funny. Even small stuff, like when they're even at like a gas station and they're trying to wait 2 hours for gas. It's just, what was it, an hour or something like that, they're trying to get to the concert. Everything just works so perfectly that it's just, it's its own true unique film. And of course, let's not forget the musical performances, the James Brown church choir performing the more soulful renditions inside the Soul Food Cafe, Ray Charles performing on a gosh darn keyboard. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the good stuff. This is just like, I'm just sitting back and being heavily entertained And I'm just like, yeah, we've got so much good stuff going on here. And it's like, I mean, the plot it's as basic as it gets. Let us reunite as a band so that way we can get the $5,000. Let's let's try and save the orphanage. Let's meet up with producer inside. I think it's like a Turkish bath or something like that in a sauna. Let's focus on this guy. Let's focus on this producer, and then the brothers. Have them talk everything, and then reveal to a wide chat. All right, let's go, boys. Well, everyone else was in there, just sitting on the left side. I'm just like, I completely forgot how that was so gosh darn funny. This movie is it's a laugh a minute, fantastic, phenomenal film. But again, the absurdity towards the end when they're finally I gotta talk about it, when they're delivering the money towards the end. It's like, oh, we're just going to get like a couple of cars. Oh, let's get John Candy and quoting. I'm sorry, I gotta say this quote. John Candy. It says, "Hey, what car are we? 5-5. Hi, this is car 5-5. We're in a truck." Yes. It's like, okay, let's ramp up the police force. Let's get the entire CPD. Let's get the Army. Let's get a SWAT team, helicopters, a tank, all just to capture these two brothers. Then again, when you see the charges that is going on against L, what was that? 56 unpaid, 117 unpaid tickets, 56 something else, 37. It's an obscene, absurd number, and it's like finally towards the end when they're descending on the Honorable Richard Daley city building, whatever, just have all that. They have everyone going hut, 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 descending the building. Just, it is truly one of the most hilarious climaxes in a movie. And of course, let's finish with Jailhouse Rock. In a jailhouse. Yes. Oh my word. Some people may not like the over-the-top zany aspect of it, and I can see that. At first, when I watched it years ago, I was kind of put off by it, but I'm like, upon rewatching, I'm like, yeah, I guess that is the point. It's meant to be like a satire and loving tribute to all the stuff that goes on, and some people may say just like, the absurdity, just how Carrie Fisher's character just comes out of nowhere. I'm like, well, I guess that's a little whatever. Like, that's something you just look past and just enjoy it, John Belushi, unfortunately, ingested way too much heroin. I mean, it's like there was drugs that were going on all around during production that even alcohol was involved too. I mean, this was the 1980s, but just so much that sometimes that Belushi would fall asleep and they'd have to find in the most unexpected areas. And he would eventually become known as America's Guest because he would always appear at the most unexpected places. And I think it was Dan Aykroyd who was known as the Black Hole because he went through so many sunglasses. Over 100 cars were used for the climax scene. It was 150, something like that. It was in between that number that stood at least for 10 years before ultimately being squashed by the Matrix Revolutions with 300. And oh boy, does that show. It really does. It just adds to the over-the-top, zany hilarity, directed by John Landis. Yes, he is. I enjoy his movies, but unfortunately, when he did some stupid stuff, I'm just going to talk about his movies and just barely even mention it, which I may do a review of The American Werewolf in London just because. So yeah, if you're an over-the-top, absurd movie that's got some religious undertones, but it's not in your face like this, It's more just, it's like it's there, but it's not there. So yeah, full of hilarity, full of just an obscene number of cops, the military, everything like that. Some great performances, kind of tender moments here and there. And I truly recommend that you watch The Blues Brothers. Just don't watch the sequel.